Hello, this is Neil, the art instructor at masterpaintingnow.com. The link to the website is in the description. Click on it and find a bunch more free tutorials and lessons and courses. So in this particular lesson, someone asked me, hey, can you do a critique on my artwork? First thing I would personally recommend is reducing the size of the lady so that she takes up less space on the cover. This will give her more breathing room and also give you a chance to tell a little bit of story in the background. As it is, you can still tell some story in the background. That is, maybe have some like flying cars and some sort of horizon back there with buildings and stuff, and futuristic bridgeways between them or whatever, and little flying cars in the background, and maybe it's steampunk or something. You got steam coming out or whatever it is, and big giant robots, whatever there's a story and you know it and I don't, so tell that story in the background. It's kind of cool. There's a lot you can tell with a little bit of detail in the background. The next thing I recommend doing is to alter the coloration of the background so that, let's go ahead, we'll go to color here. I recommend making it more of a red background, and just to show you really quickly here, having more of a red background, red and like orange, like a sunset or something, it's going to give you more of the contrast with her. So when you do her hair, brown or blonde, whatever, it'll stand out more to the red background, the reddish and kind of like a sunset type background. That also will really go well with the colors you've chosen for the gun ray. Another thing to consider is like you can use like color dodge and for making gun blasts and stuff. And it just to give an idea, another thing is using like overlay, and it gives you kind of a cool, just a quick idea of what you can do with that. And that's way over outblowing, but look up some tutorials on YouTube for how to do gun blasts and stuff like that, and how to make light. And there's a couple techniques you can use. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on it myself to show how to do this. I think I have a couple tutorials actually on my channel if you search for it. I'm not really sure what you'd have to search for. The final thing I would alter is the pose. A few things to make it more powerful. Not only that, but to also make it more correct. If her shoulders are being pulled back, and you notice here the center line here. Let's go ahead and turn this down a little bit, make another layer. If her shoulders are being pulled back, and this right here is her center line, then the center line has to come here as well. So that center line has to match up, which means there has to be a twisting coming on over here. The belly button would be here. The muscles come through. Muscles here. The latissimus dorsi, and then you have your hip muscles and hip bones. So it's important that you'd have that kind of structure. So you'd have the muscles coming through there, like twisting. There's a twisting of the body occurring here. And so you'd see the muscles twisting to the side. The next thing is then you want to imagine the rib cage. You have the side of the rib cage here, right? You want to imagine that that's all the side rib cage there, and then this is muscles attached onto it, the latissimus dorsi and whatnot, and the serratus muscles and the obliques. And if the rib cage comes here, then you have to have the breast. It's got to set. And you're having a side view of the breast here, and it's setting on that rib cage. If both shoulders are being pulled back, you wouldn't see the shoulder at all, unless maybe you're like at a top. The camera was from a top view angle. I might even consider looking upward with your camera to really emphasize this breast doesn't overlap a little bit. It's come more like this here. Anyway, I might overlap or have the camera looking upward to add just more impact to the pose. This is the side edge of the body. The hips are facing forward. When the hips are facing forward, I think you kind of have this leg sort of correct. You wouldn't see any of the buttocks back there. You just see the hips, but maybe recommend this leg this way, and then this leg maybe kind of turn it in, and this leg also is going to come down more. Maybe the knees are here, and then, or the knees there. And you have the calf muscles come around like this. So you have more of the legs kind of turning more in like this. Now I think that adds more sexiness to the pose, but also more accurate to the pose as well, like how to actually have your legs that feel more comfortable rather than have this leg turned around to the side. If this leg is turned around to the side, turn around this way, it's going to be thicker, it's going to be bigger than the side view. The front view isn't, you look at the leg from the front is not as thick as the leg from the side view. These are things to consider with the pose. Collarbone comes up here. I would maybe make the deltoid thinner here. Depends if it's connecting right about there, then you have some of the back, then you have a little bit of elbow, maybe a little bit of elbow showing, those muscles coming through. All that looks pretty okay. I would make the biceps smaller. She looks a little big in the arm there, but unless you wanted that big, that's up to you. But those are some of the changes I'd make in the pose. And so how I might draw the pose then, let's go ahead and do that really quick, is the first thing is I would keep in mind how big is my head. And so I would keep my head, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. I can always blow this up. So I like to sketch small, so I'll blow it up in a second. So keep my head small, and I'm going to use a different color. You might as well use black. It shouldn't be an overlay, it should be a normal. So if I start with my head size, what I think is important is that once you have that head size, drop these same distances down so you know about how tall your character ought to be. And now my neck is then coming from the side view. I have my center be here. This will be my collarbone, and it's being pulled back because this whole muscle is being pulled back. The whole shoulder is being pulled back. Have my bone coming down here. Have my arm coming out, being foreshortened a little bit, and I'll have my hand in this area here. Next thing I want to do is I really want to press this S curve, this curve right here. Now I got to think about the halfway point. 1, 2, 3, 4. This right here is going to be the halfway point. This is going to be where my crotch is. What I want to do is I want to kind of put my crotch maybe center like here with the there, or even pull it back a little bit further over here. This being the center of my crotch right here. The reason I want to do is I really want to emphasize this S curve. I might even kind of draw in loosely. First, let's kind of draw on the hip bones here loosely. Women's hip bones are a little bit wider than men's. Next, I know there's going to be a little bit of distance between the rib cage. Have that be the front. Show the sternum. So think about a lot of the anatomy here. That rib cage comes around. That's how you see the inside of the rib cage there. And you see a little bit of the outside rib cage right here. That center line comes down and it twists here. There's going to be a twisting happening. You then have the widest part. There's two whites. There's this part here. This part's usually a little bit wider on the females. That's the femur bone. The reason why, these are two landmarks here and here. If you press a thin lady, you can find her hip bones there on the side where the iliac crest pushes out. You can press against that and you can touch it. You can also press against her legs. That's the widest part of the female body, and you can feel her leg bones there, her femurs, or femur bones. Come down this way, come down this way. Remember, the knees are going to be about in this, two down, and then the rest of the legs will come in that area. I'm not worried about that part yet. So having good anatomy and building your pose onto that is to make it stronger. It's also good to start out with a gesture first to really capture the movement and the power of the pose, and then take from that and then add the anatomy onto that. You'll get a stronger pose that way, in my opinion. And then you can start adding the muscles and all that to the character now if you wanted to. Just really pull this here. Coming down, show the hip here and the leg, and then the leg is attaching here. It's coming out and down, like so. You have this part that comes out, you have the stratus muscle that comes over this way, connects with the other muscles, and comes around to the knee. All right, oops. Then you can take and start erasing some of this as you continue to add in the anatomy. This is where it's being cut off. Then here I'm going to pull the leg this way. That's the widest part of the leg. I'm going to come in. Have that same muscle come around this way. And I'm thinking about how wide I want the leg to go. Thinking maybe straight down, and it's pushing up on this side of the hip higher maybe, causing this part of the hip to be higher. The breast is lying on top of the rib cage, coming out. The other breast is slightly overlapping that one because it has to fit into the region of the rib cage where breast's attached to. I'm making the breast a little bit high. Take that center rib cage, that center line, take that rib cage there a little bit, and take these center muscles, the belly muscles. Put the belly button in here. So all that's kind of twisting right here. All these muscles here are twisting. And these muscles will come in this way. Damn it, come on. It's going to come up to the collarbone right here. And that's all you're going to see. You're not going to see the shoulder behind there, and then you'll have the arm coming out somewhere in this area here. The hand, the gun, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, this is more generalized, and so it doesn't look as powerful. What happened here is, I wanted to show this, is we lost the power of the pose. What I mean by that is, we lost the gesture. It's gone. Now we have, a more correct kind of an anatomical pose. It's starting to get more correct. It still seems a little, in this area here, a little not correct, but that's fine. So instead, what we want to do is start with something that's more like a gesture of the pose you're going for. And so, okay, so I know I want my head coming up this way here. So that's, the head's going to fit in that area there. I'm going to have my neck coming off of that. And so the gesture of the pose I'm going for now is this S curve here. I really want this. First I want this, boom, I want this curve right here, boom, I want it to be big. So what I'm going for then is the center mass. I want it to come out and around and back over here like this. So I really want to pull that out. I want to show that curve is big. And for this looks less manly, I'll come out. Start to show the face a little bit there, the jawline. Come out with the head, the neck. I want to really pull, I want to thrust this center point here. I really want to pull and stretch this back as far as I can to its maximum until I have my shoulder back here. Arms coming down this way, arms coming back this way, toward us a bit. And you have the hand overlapping that, like this. So I really want to pull, want the stretchiness to come back like that. I might even, stretch it even further than that. Really kind of come forward, kind of come with more of a side view first of the, think about the side view first, boom, like this, coming and stretching. And this being the kind of a side view. And it might even be a stronger pose to, have more of a side view of the leg here and the leg's kind of coming back like this, and then side view of the crotch, and this leg is coming out that way. But maybe not. Maybe kind of a 3/4 view, something like that. Anyway, starting out with more of a side view here kind of really shows you how much you really want to push this, and you want to come forward. So now I'm going to take this other center. It's coming back off that way, disappearing. I want to take that center line that I know is my center line of my rib cage. I want to come out here. I want to come into the center over here. Bam, like this. And now I can come in. Maybe I want to push this leg up higher. Now what we're going to get we're going to have the rib cage coming up here. This area is being pulled back away from us, so it's being foreshortened a bit. Imagine that rib cage, imagine that center line. Then you have these muscles and they're twisting. Here's the belly button. So these tummy muscles are coming off. The breast is attaching to the side of the rib here. It's lying on the rib cage. This breast is also lying on the rib cage. Show that rib cage coming down here, and then show the stomach muscles. And I might even make this arm longer, extend this out further before you have the forearm. Then you have the hand. See, so now it really, because there's that slight gesture in there, I think we've pulled I like to do like basic more gesture poses of the leg here, and then have this leg come out wide. And so now we have a stronger in the hand in this area here. So as you can see, this just doing that, we give ourselves a stronger, stronger pose. I would probably make the hips a little bit bigger. This whole section bigger actually. Just kind of pull it all bigger and attach it. But then after you have worked out the gesture kind of sketch, you can come back in, rework it, and go, okay, now I need to rework this sketch and add proper anatomy to it. After you have the force down, after you have like what you want for the force of the pose down, now it's like a stronger pose. So continue on then with the cover. Let's say stops like this. I would personally give it more room, to breathe. And I would have her like that big on the cover, and then her gun would be in here. And you can pull this more back if you wanted to. If you really wanted to really pull this back more, you could. You can really stretch that back more and really show that you really want to pull it back more, and then you want to take the head maybe and make it more straight. Do this with my mouse. For some reason it's not working so good with the, even have her head kind of looking straight forward like that. So this is what's cool about doing, quick sketches, because now you can come in and you can take your sketch and you can start, working it the way you want it. That is, you can rearrange things very quickly. You don't put much time into it, so you can just rotate things in Photoshop, or just if you're working with pencil, just erase them real quick and redo it. And the anatomy of the breast here is incorrect. One thing to do when you're thinking about the breast like this attaching onto the rib cage, this breast is correct. Let's go ahead and redraw this here real quick. So the nipple's somewhere around here. You kind of want to draw like a diagonal line, and that's where the other nipple is going to be. And the breast, when it lies from this kind of side view like this, is that when you have the rib cage coming out here, the muscles attach up in there and disappear. And then here, then what happens is the rib cage is somewhere like along like right there. You see part of the breast coming down like this, and then it comes over here like that. And the nipple ends up right there at that area, and it comes in like this and swoops up. And that right there is the collarbone. Neck is coming down. This, you might see a little bit of the shoulder over there, just depending on how far back, how far she's pulling her. That's where that nipple would be if you wanted to imagine it like that. So that would be more anatomically correct. Then you have your big gun, and I would add more form to the gun personally. So you have your gun in here. I'd add more detail and just form to the gun. I think you kind of wanted to do some kind of gear thing here with the gun, which is kind of an interesting idea. And so really come in and add the three-dimensionalityness to that. What part of the gun are you going to see as you have these gears right here? Think about the perspective of the gun and what you're going to see. So where's the camera at? What are we looking? Where's the perspective? So are you seeing these side views, the side planes of the cranks here, for example? And that adds right there adds more 3D-ness to the gun already. And then you might add, it's all about form and shading and stuff. It comes into, what's the shape you're looking at. You got to think about the three-dimensional shapes of the gun. Definitely want to add some more shadow and everything into the gun in this area to make it have more of a 3D roundness to it. If the gun's round, you have that top part of the gun there and so forth. Then you have, the explosion of the gun coming out. You might want to kind of add some cool shapes to the explosion as it comes out, and then you're kind of having the sonic booms here. Add dimension, add perspective to the sonic booms even. They come out thinner as they go back there, thicker as it comes toward us, like halos. Maybe you have you have a smaller one in here somewhere. And it really comes down to how you color them. And so now, when you think about how much you have to work with the background, you can really take this red kind of color here. You add all kinds of like red clouds to the background there. I should have that on a different layer. So you have all these like red clouds, and we'll make the background kind of orangish, yellow, whatever. This is just really quickly done, but just get an idea. Right, so it's like that, and then you might have some orange clouds, whatever. So that kind of sunset with the blues, I think is going to add a really cool effect. You have your beam coming off. Then, like I said, when you take it and you add like overlay or something like that, make a soft brush, you can really start adding in some of this onto the This color is, kind of a color that's already strong, so it's going to be hard to kind of, I'd maybe use a different kind of blue when you first draw the blues. What this doesn't allow you to do is when you do pick that overlay and color dodge, you're going to be able to add more. Let's go with white. You're going to be able to add more of this kind of beam quality to it. And then you add the whiteness. Just to give an idea, but anyway. You can also go back to normal and you can, adjust to. I'm not really doing the beam thing justice right now. Just really, really quick sketching just to give an idea. And if you wanted to show, the beams coming off of the gun, kind of like that, you can. And in that case, you'd kind of use the blue colors and overlap a little bit. You would take that, same kind of blue color tone and come back in and, you'd add it to all this side of her body. And the rest of the body, have it be skin tone, whatever tone color she is. And then add a little bit of that redness into that side of the body there. So she doesn't have a lot of red on the dark shadow side of her body. So now you have this like red and blue, kind of shading on her body. And I would kind of come with darker colors too, though. But the whole goal here is you really want to show the form, so that whole side of the body is a lot darker than this side. Just to give a quick idea. You can have her hair, whatever color you decide her hair to be, kind of brown or blonde, whatever. I'd probably, really sway the hair into the wind, have it come off the page. And now with the background now, you can work in and go, hey, there's like structures back there. And you can work those structures in where you have, buildings and stuff like this, all back to like a city or something. And it's all in the background. And you can have bridges and stuff going, it doesn't have to be very detailed. And just hint at some sort of background, some sort of cityscape. And have like little, hints of flying cars or whatever. And in the sky maybe have, more big flying type cities or whatever you have up there. More flying cars and stuff. Come back over here, still have some more of the city. Something more of the city coming in the foreground here more. Something, as it gets closer, maybe something go over here. It's even closer, like where she is, and it's kind of showing like part of a, robot or something here, something in the foreground with her, kind of like even in front of her, even kind of coming in front of her leg, even all this right here, some kind of box or something. And it has more details, obviously, and a little bit of the light is, lighting it up because it's in the front, and it has details on it. Whatever it is, I don't know what this thing is, but you decide what it is. It's some kind of object that fits within your world, and that starts telling a better story about your world. And then all this right here is ground plane, not sky anymore. So you'd kind of color it some sort of more ground color, probably more of a brownish red color, and that. All that composition, I think, starts to tell a better story. And that's what it's all about. Any type of cover like this is try to tell a story. Then I would have my letters up here, smaller. Don't take up so much, space. Title doesn't have to be that big, just readable. That's all it has to be. And I think a composition more like that is going to give you a more powerful reading and telling of a story. So think about something like that. I think if you use more of a pose like that, it's a little bit stronger. This is a very quick sketch, but it gives an idea of the potential what you can do with that cover. And so those are the kind of things I think about when I think about composition. I'm thinking about, I want the eye to kind of wander around, that like this beam here, it's like shooting off, and it's taking the eye that way off the page. It's like we're off the page. How do we get back on the page again? So try to like maybe change the shape of the booms here to stop like this, and stop here so it comes out, and it kind of these hooks are kind of bringing us back into the image again, back in over here, or as this shoots off, you have like this one kind of stopping like that and have a really bright spot right there, and then a little bright spot right here, kind of shooting off like this, like a ray, this ray here, that ray and that ray, and that kind of brings our eyes back into the image again over here. So you can really pop out a brightness here and a brightness here, kind of like a ray coming off to show part of that ray being bright at first. That's like the brightest part of the ray really, and that's bringing us back over here into this part of the image. This whole city, kind of like floating thing, it's a big spaceship, whatever it is, brings our eyes back in this area, and then it has something, jets or something shooting down, and maybe those jets are blue, maybe they're red. Oh man, I didn't mean to cut that color out. Crap, how did I do that? Fuck, I don't know what I did just now. Okay, this pissed me off. Why did that just happen? I actually hit something weird. Something weird. See, it's cutting. That's not, I don't want the cutting, I want color picker. Okay, now I got it back. Anyway, I actually deleted that color though. Anyway, so maybe the jets are blue. Really? Come on now. Don't mess with me here. It's got some like blue jets coming off the spaceship, keeping it up. And a little bit of white in there. And back to that bluish color. Or cyan. Just trying to add a little bit of glowiness to it. You can also go back to just the colors that are there. Use color dodge, and this is kind of a cool way to make effects. So you take that background color that's already there, that kind of red color. Well, first let's go back to normal. Let's add in this kind of yellow background and red background in here. Then go to color dodge, and you can add your kind of jet effects like this. They start bright and they come down. Anyway, something like that. And that's showing that the things like up there in the air, you can just take this color now and just kind of form it more if you want. Add some yellow, red back in there to kind of break it up. Those are the jets. Take a white color, kind of come in. Maybe take a bright yellowish color as well. The whole under part of the ship's all like on fire or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter anyway. That's bringing the focus back down this way, back to the girl. And the girl goes back up that way, and everything just keeps leaning your eye around like in a circle. That's one way to keep an eye on the page. Something to keep in mind with composition. Another thing is obviously this background isn't going to be that dark. I'm going to want to turn this whole background down. It's going to fade because it's in the background. It's not going to be nearly as dark as the foreground. All the colors are going to be the background atmosphere, in this case kind of a reddish atmosphere, is going to kind of have a hue over all the city. And the ground might get darker as it comes up into the foreground. But you don't want it to be too dark because you don't want it to compete with her. You want her to stand out. And again, with her, I might add in some redness to the sides of her body here. On this side, so this side's all like kind of got some reddish light of the sky hitting it. this side has like the bluish edges. Get the idea. So now you have, I think something more like that would be a cooler composition. And then I can take this quick sketch here I got, and I can turn it into a final painting that would have all the anatomical details. And I would maybe think about the outfit as well. Just give it more thought. It's kind of generic. You got, a tank top, like pants with like, belt type thingy. Maybe give it a little more thought and add a little more atmosphere to her outfit. Think about the world in which she exists in, and add that into her outfit. More coolness factor. I have if you have not yet signed up to my VIP, you can. It's free. Go to my website, masterpaintingnow.com, or just click on the link in the description, and you'll see VIP lessons. Now, originally I was going to have them come out once a week, but instead I do them like every 3 weeks or so, and I just make them long, like an hour and a half long, so it's like a full free lesson. And the lesson I'm rendering right now that I'm going to be uploading here, once it's finished rendering, I'll probably upload it sometime tomorrow, is all about character design. It's about an hour and 40 minutes, something like that. And it's all about character design. I take through my thought process as I design a character from beginning to end, and how I design the clothing, and how I change stuff and rethink about it and go, no, I don't like that. Let's try this. Let's try that. And that whole thinking process really, helps come up with a character. And the whole time I'm thinking about what world does she exist in, what represents her personality, and I go through all that kind of stuff. So that might be something you're interested in. And if so, if you're not a VIP member yet, sign up as a VIP member. And once I'm done with that, it'll post into your email. And in your email, it'll say VIP. That's what all my emails start with, VIP. That comes from the newsletter, and then you'll have a link to the free tutorial, and then you'll have a link to the back to a secret page that has the back links to the previous VIP lessons I have done. Anyway, I hope that helps. Hey, if you found this tutorial helpful, or you found this lesson helpful, please do me a favor. It only takes a second. Click on the share button underneath the video. Share it with your networks, whatever networks you have, your Twitter, your Facebook. Share it with all of them. Just click each one that you have, and then share it with everybody. And what that does is it helps other people see it. You might not think, you might be surprised how many people might go to your page. People that you don't even know and don't even realize go to your page. They see that and go, oh, cool. Free art lesson. I'm gonna check that out, and they go and watch it, and it helps them. And that's what it's all about. It's all about helping people. So anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching.